Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. In this we will see the formula based on Laplace transform of standard function. Since many functions are there in the Laplace transform, so here we'll see the Laplace transform of every function from one by one. First we'll see Laplace transform of constant, right? And the Laplace transform of constant is constant upon s. In similar way, if you're going to find the Laplace transform of constant power of a into t, then formula will be 1 upon s minus or a into log of k. Always remember that here the multiplier of t we have plus of a, right? So here we'll take the reverse of plus a, and the reverse of plus a will be the minus of a. So that's why here we have minus. I hope you understood this thing, right? In similar way, if you're going to find the Laplace transform of capital K raised to minus of a into t, so in that particular case, what we have to do, since the multiple of t here we have minus of a, and the reverse of minus of a will be the plus of a. So here the formula will be 1 upon s plus of a into log of k. So this is the third formula of Laplace transform. In similar way, the fourth formula is, if we're going to find the Laplace transform of e raised to a into t, right? So formula number 4 and formula number 2 are almost similar, but only difference is that here instead of k, here we have e, right? So here we're going to write the same formula over here, but at the place of k, we're going to write a e over here. Now let's see what happening over here, right? 1 upon s minus or a into log of e will going to come, but the log of e is always equal to 1. So at the place of log of e, here we'll put 1, and then after that we'll get 1 upon s minus of a. Or in general, you can say Laplace transform of e raised to a into t is equal to 1 upon s minus of a. And the fifth one is, the formula number 5th and formula number 4 are almost same, but only difference is that here at the place of a, here we have minus. So what we'll do over here, on the right hand side, here the minus will be replaced by plus and everything will be the same, like formula number 4 only. I hope you understood everything over here. So here we have seen total 5 formulas of the Laplace transform. Now see the formula number 6. And from the 6th and onward, here we'll see the Laplace transform of trigonometric function, right? First one is Laplace transform of sin 80 will be a upon s square plus of a square. And if we're going to find the Laplace transform of sin hyperbolic of 80, here we have, right? Always remember that whenever you will get the hyperbolic function, in that particular case, in the denominator, the sign should be minus. And if the function is normal, right? Here we have sin of 80, right? This is a normal function, this is a hyperbolic function. In the normal function, plus sign should be there in the denominator between the two different terms, right? But here we'll get the minus. I hope this thing is understood to you. And if you're going to find the Laplace transform of cos of 80, then the formula will be s upon s square plus of a square. In similar way, if you're going to find the Laplace transform of cos hyperbolic of 80, right? Here hyperbolic is coming. So in that particular case, in denominator, we'll get the minus between the s square and a square. I hope you understood this thing, right? And in case of numerator, right? And one more trick is there. Whenever you will get a sign, so in that particular case, the numerator will be a. Here we have sin, so numerator is a, and here we have sin, so numerator is a, right? If you will get the cos in the input, then in that particular case, the numerator will be s. This is a cos, so here we have s, and here also we have a cos, so here we have s. I hope this thing is understood to you, right? So total we have completed the 5 different formula of the Laplace transform. Now after that, one more formula is pending. This is formula number 10. That is Laplace transform of t raised to n, right? If we're going to find the Laplace transform of t raised to n, then 2 different cases will going to exist over here, right? That depend on the value of n. If the value of n is integer value, like if the n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and onward, right? In that particular case, here we're going to put the Laplace transform of t raised to n equal to factorial of n upon s power of n plus 1. I hope this thing is understood to you, right? In similar way, Laplace transform t raised to n, if you get the value of n equal to 1 by 2, 3 by 2 and 5 by 2 and so on, right? Here fraction values we have. If the value of n is present in a fraction form, then in that particular case, here the second case will be applicable, and the Laplace transform of t raised to n will be equal to gamma of, this is the sign of gamma, right? Gamma of n plus 1 upon s power of n plus 1. I hope this thing is understood to you, right? In the Laplace transform of t raised to n, the 2 different cases will going to exist. This is case number 1 and this is case number 2, that depend on the value of n. So now, if we're going to see in the formula here we have the factorial and here we have the gamma. So now see the concept of factorial as well as the concept of gamma, right? If you want to find the factorial of n, so what you have to do, here we have to do the multiplication of n, and then after that we'll decrease the number n in the decreasing order until we get 1, right? So here we'll write n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into up to 1, right? So here we'll arrange the n in the reverse order, and after that here every values will going to multiply it, right? And whatever result will come, that will be considered as, or that will be called as factorial of n. For example, here we can say if you want to find the factorial of 6, right? So here we'll arrange the number 6 in the decreasing order from 6 to 1. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the multiply sign will come in between. And after that, if you're going to multiply 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into, then you will get 720, right? In similar way, if you're going to find factorial of 5, so factorial of 5, so what we have to do over here? Here we have to arrange the number 5 in the decreasing order till we get 1, and after that, every number we're going to multiply it with each other, right? So 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 will going to come, and we'll get 120. Similar case with the factorial of 4 and factorial of 3 also, right? So this is all about the concept of factorial and how it is to be calculated. I hope you understood this thing. Now after that, we'll see calculation of gamma, right? Because in the second case here we are using a gamma function. So now let's see how the gamma function to be evaluated. That if you want to calculate the value of gamma of n, the formula is n minus 1 into gamma of n minus 1. Always remember that outside the gamma we have n minus 1, and inside the gamma also we have n minus 1, right? And one more thing you should know, gamma of 1 by 2 value is fixed, and this is nothing but square root of pi. That you should know, right? Gamma of 1 by 2 is equal to square root of pi. And from gamma of 1 by 2, we can derive the other values also. Like if you want to calculate gamma of 3 by 2, right? So here we're going to apply the formula. So at the place of n, here we have 3 by 2. So here we'll write 3 by 2 minus 1. And inside the gamma also we'll write 3 by 2 minus 1. And 3 by 2 minus 1 will be nothing but 1 by 2. And 3 by 2 minus 1 is again nothing but 1 by 2, right? So 1 by 2 will be as it is. And gamma of 1 by 2 is nothing but square root of pi. So we're going to put this value. Then after that we'll get square root of pi divided by 2. I hope this thing you understood to you, right? In similar way, we can calculate gamma of 5 by 2. And to calculate gamma of 5 by 2, again we're going to use this formula. So at the place of n, here we have 5 by 2. So here gamma of 5 by 2 will be equal to 5 by 2 minus of 1 into gamma of 5 by 2 minus of 1. And 5 by 2 minus 1 is nothing but 3 by 2. So here we'll get 3 by 2 into gamma of 3 by 2. And gamma of 3 by 2 already we have calculated, and it's nothing but square root of pi divided by 2. So we're going to substitute these values here, and after simplification here we'll get 3 into square root of pi divided by 4 is the value of gamma of 5 by 2. Now also we can calculate gamma of 7 by 2. So again we're going to use this formula. Since at the place of n, here we have 7 by 2. So we're going to put this value. So 7 by 2 minus of 1 into gamma of 7 by 2 minus 1 will going to come. And 7 by 2 minus of 1 is nothing but 5 by 2. So here we'll get 5 by 2 into gamma of 5 by 2. And gamma of 5 by 2 already we have calculated over here. And the result was 3 into square root of pi divided by 4. So we're going to substitute these values over here, and we'll do the simplification. And after that here we'll get 15 into square root of pi divided by 8 is the value of gamma of 7 by 2. So on the basis of that, here successfully we have completed all the fundamental formulas of Laplace transform, and also we have seen the concept of factorial as well as concept of gamma. So we're going to end this lecture here only, and from coming lecture we'll start with the problem solving part. Thank you.